Okay.
Yes.
Okay. At least we agree on something.
Listen, you got three of the most dominant scorers we have in the game today, and their basketball IQ ranks right there with LeBron and anybody else in in the top 10 of the league. Then you have guys who can get their own shot. You can just pass it to Kevin Durant, who I think is, Kevin is the probably most dominant offensive player we've seen maybe in our lifetime. Not as much as Jordan, but right there with Jordan, right there with Kobe. But man, and then you throw in Kyrie, who is, just unstoppable. And then James Harden, to me, is playing the best basketball I've ever seen James Harden play. Because he's playing winning championship basketball. And I hope that the voters for the MVP don't penalize him for coming to the team late. Because that man is playing off the chart.
Would you have them beating the Lakers if they met in the finals?
I'm sorry.
Would you have them beating the Lakers if they met LeBron and AD in the finals?
Man, I'm a Laker. I'm always roll with the Lakers. You know that. I can't.
There's three of those dudes in Brooklyn, only two in LA.
Never. I don't care if I think they're going to lose. I'm going to always go with the Lakers. And I would never bet against LeBron James. I can't bet against LeBron James. I can't.
Let me ask you this real quick, Magic, before we let you go. I love messing with Stephen A. Hollywood Steve. Now he's out there in L.A. He's bi-coastal. He's bought like 8 houses this year. He's got like 8 shows. He's just living his best life, and I'm proud of him. He works hard. He deserves it. But
That's
I like
right.
messing with him that he's not going to be in L.A. He's going to be in Salt Lake City, salty and mad when Denver makes it there. So because of that, tell me this. We asked everybody this at home. It was our poll question day. Who do you think's under the most pressure when they return? Is it more on AD or LeBron so that Stephen A. doesn't end up in Salt Lake City?
No, it's not one or the other. They're both under pressure, right? And you think about, listen, when you play in Los Angeles and you play for the Lakers, you're under pressure because we expect championships. So they're both under pressure to win it again. We want to see them repeat. I don't say it's more pressure on LeBron or more pressure on AD. We want them both healthy and both ready for the playoff. Because again, and I want to say this again, Utah, Phoenix, Denver, the Clippers, and Dallas, whoever plays Dallas in that first round in Portland, I tell you what, Damian Lillard, wow, man, he's playing off the charts. He can win the MVP as well. So when you think about
Wild
1
West.
through 8 in the West, it's going to be tough. They're tough.
Let me tell y'all something.
Stephen A's heading to Salt Lake City.
COVID-19 took away Miami, LA in the finals last year. We could have been in both cities. They took that from me, okay? COVID-19 took that from me. If I have to end up going to Utah, I might not speak to y'all again. I might not speak to any of y'all again, especially you, Molly. I might not speak to y'all.
Stephen A will enjoy a nice root beer in Salt Lake
there.
City. Throw back a root beer or 2 in Salt Lake City, Stephen A, you'd be good.
Now, Salt Lake City is a very beautiful city.
Throw up some
and the
prayers.
people there are beautiful. But damn
well,
it.
I love that backcourt, Conley and Mitchell, man. I tell you. And then they got 2 shooters, Joe Engels and Bogdanovich. I hope I said it right.
Bogdanovich,
yes. And then you think about the big boy holding it down in the middle. That team, and they got a great coach. So this is going to be the most exciting playoffs we've had in some time in the NBA because those teams are strong and they can win. And don't count Phoenix out. Chris Paul, listen.
I'm making my reservations.
We had AD out with the calf. He's still out. And now LeBron, we're hearing maybe a month. High ankle sprains can be very serious. Where's your level of confidence in terms of the team keeping it together with all these injuries and not getting too far behind in the West?
Well, Molly, it's going to be tough because we got a tough schedule, and the West is so good that the problem is you're taking out both of our best 2 not only their superstars, but they're our best 2 scorers, and they also are best 2 creators for getting shots for other guys. So that becomes an issue for the team. They will play hard. Coach Vogel is a great coach. the guys will come out and compete. But the problem, the West is just so good. And so we saw that the other night against Phoenix. The Lakers just didn't have enough firepower to beat them. And that's going to be our issue until AD and LeBron comes back. And I hope that they don't penalize LeBron in terms of the MVP. The same thing I hope they don't do for Joe Embiid. These two players have been dominant all season long. And I hope they don't be out too long so that they can, compete for that MVP race as well.
Last year, there was this big-time show on ESPN. It was called Sports Center with Stephen A., Will Bond, and Magic Johnson. That's what it was, a big-time show, okay? And during that show, I saw Irvin Magic Johnson that was never, ever nervous at all about the Lakers last year. He was very confident they were going to win the chip. I don't sense that same level of confidence this year, Magic Johnson. Is it true you're a little bit nervous about this year's team? And if so, specifically, why would that be, sir?
Well, I'm nervous because, when you have, AD and LeBron out with injuries, that is a cause of concern. And then I'm concerned about the middle, too. We are not very good at shot blocking. The things we used to be good at with Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee, we can't close the middle down this year. We don't have that type of length on our team. So I hope that during this trade deadline, or if somebody get bought out, that we can, solve that issue. But it's going to be tough for any team to beat the Lakers if they're healthy 4 times in a playoff series. It's just going to be tough. So I still believe in the Lakers, but the Lakers have competition this year that they didn't have last season. And we looking at the West with Utah, with Denver, the Clippers. I think it's still going to come down to the Clippers and the Lakers for the West. And then I give Milwaukee some credit. That picking up P.J. Tucker from Houston, that trade, it's really going to help them in the playoff. And Trevor Ariza going to Miami, that's going to help them too. So let's see what Philly ends up doing in the trade deadline, because Milwaukee is a better team right now, and that fourth quarter small team is going to be a lot better with P.J. Tucker.
Magic, there was some sad news yesterday. So many Lakers greats, you and Kareem, Kobe, and Shaq, Wilt, and so many players, and among the greats, the greatest players who ever lived, Elgin Baylor, who passed yesterday. Do you have any thoughts on Elgin?
Well, Max, you know that Elgin was the first Laker and Los Angeles Lakers superstar, right? We know that George Mikan was in Minnesota, but when it comes to Los Angeles, and you think about Showtime, and you think about somebody with the creativity, the hang time, he was actually Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan. He was Dr. J before Dr. J. And let's remember this, Max. This dude scored 60 points in the NBA Finals, and it still holds the record for NBA Finals most points scored in a game. 60 against the Celtics.
Unreal.
And also, Molly, he scored 70 in a regular season game. I mean, when you think about
my goodness,
Hall of Famer and superstar, it's Elgin Baylor, and he's still up under the radar. He should get more notoriety than he's getting, and we want to say rest in peace to this Hall of Famer, and also